All right, so looks like we're actually in for the game. Very quick intro video there, using the really well animated video there from a while back now. And I gotta say, it still amazes me every time. We have Lilac starting here on the Annie, and then we got Ssumday on the Nunu. Looks like he did go for a Flash and Ignite combination. Ssumday though went for Barrier and Teleport on the Nunu.
You know, I like the barrier pickup because it's going to be very good in the 1v1. But as far as this game is concerned, it's probably just going to be about can he sustain through this Annie damage, and I don't think that Flash Ignite is really going to be is really going to let him. So Lilac definitely going for the aggressive summoner spells there. The Flash is actually kind of interesting because while that does mean that it'll be able to, you know, flash under turret and get that last little bit of damage, it's not an aggressive summoner spell. I mean, it can be used that way, but it doesn't just give you that combat effectiveness. It can be used that way, but it'll be interesting to see if this teleport barrier is what Ssumday needs. He'll be picking up a flask start, and he'll wait in base for a 4th potion, picking up a mana potion there as well before he walks in the lane.
Yeah, so going for 3 health potions. Interesting because he'll need as much sustain as possible. You won't miss anything as well waiting for that last potion. A lot of the 1v1 tournaments in North America did end up having a lot of players waiting for that 4th pot, and it helped about in the long run. So we'll see if that comes into effect this time around. We do have the firebar start for Lilac. As you know, you're able to get the mana back. Just keep spamming it out and push out waves and just guarantee yourself a lot of good creeps. So we'll keep track of that. I don't think Lilac's going to do too much pressuring outside of the few auto attacks he can lay in because he's going to get so many creeps with the fireball. And you can see he also has 22 AP on the Nunu too. Just a lot of raw damage going to come out.
Yeah, and actually a very similar rune setup for both players. No attack damage, just going to go 22 AP. I think it is actually, yeah, identical for both laners here. So it'll be exciting to watch. And of course, they both brought a lot of magic resistance in their runes, but you can see going aggressive here. Lilac has zoned Ssumday off from the creep wave already. That early level 2, because he's so essential at winning this 1v1. Now Ssumday is forced to just wait back towards his turret for this wave to push up.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do in this situation, honestly. Like, Lilac can just keep charging up his stuns, throwing a fireball here or there to just keep on the harass and keep building up his stun and keep that pressure out there. As long as he's forcing him to use those flasks as well as the potions, the health potions, excuse me, it's going to be so tough for the student to deal. And Lilac, all he needs to do is just use the biscuits at a good time. Mana management is very, very key here. Keeping the fireballs, getting the last hits there is probably the most important thing you could ever look for on an Annie in the mid lane, especially. Even as a support Annie, you know, you can look at those last hits every now and then just to keep the mana pool up.
But as we're getting up in levels, you got to keep an eye on the mana bars, because that's what's really going to work out well for Ssumday. The more he auto-attacks these creeps, even if he's not getting the actual CS for them, his Clairvoyance passive is just going to give him free mana cast. So whenever he clear casts this, it's mana he doesn't have to spend it. Lilac, you can really see starting to dip down in the lower part of the mana pool. And even though you'll get mana back when he kills creeps with it, it might be the deciding factor if Ssumday can even get the out sustain in the mana department, even if it's not necessarily true in HP.
Yeah, just wait till he gets the Doran's Ring. Shouldn't be that bad once he has that. Like, you'll give him the extra damage, he'll be able to get a little bit more mana back, and like it's not even hurting him that much that he's going for these fireballs non-stop. Like, he just recovers his mana, no problem there.
Now look at all that CS that he's been able to get almost for free. You just fireball it, and now Ssumday is walking off to the side of the lane.
Is he gonna use his TP? I don't think that'd be a good decision if he uses that to go back to lane, but he's gonna miss out on a bit, especially with how Lilac's gonna control the wave.
He is going to immediately teleport back into lane. He'll pick up a ton of potions. He's going to have more sustain than he knows what to do with. There's no hope for Lilac to beat through the sustain that Ssumday has in his inventory coming back in here to lane. And with the Doran's Ring, that means that he's going to be able to get a ton of mana back just from the regen as well as from killing creeps. And so Lilac is in a little bit of trouble here. Lilac, when he goes back to base, is going to have to walk all the way back to lane, and that's where Ssumday is going to pick up a really big advantage.
Yeah, that's where it's going to get a little hairy for Lilac. So we'll see, because, I mean, he can just keep on the pressure right now. The Doran's Ring is nice for Nunu, especially to have early on. You get that little bit of an advantage. We see a lot of the AD-centric champs, when they're in the 1v1, they kind of just prioritize Doran's Blaze, and if they can TP the lane early on without any ramifications, they're good to go.
And look at Ssumday. He's just sitting there, and Lilac is non-stop auto-attacking him, using his fireballs to CS for the cooldown resets, but I think you got to turn those back around and try to do it the other way. I think Lilac really is just waiting in lane for this level 6 so he can get Tibbers and try to put down an all-in, but Ssumday, there's no possible way he's going to die to that. He'll have Consume up here in just a second. There you go, just getting way too much HP back for the sustain.
So good. So dang good. I mean, there's nothing you can do to keep the Nunu off of the last hits of the creeps. He's got to be very, very careful.
God, look at those snowballs starting to hit, quite literally snowballing the lane. And while Ssumday's ultimate may be absolute zero, he is doing anything but that, putting in a lot of work mid lane. And finally, that sustained advantage really starting to kick in. And you can see start to spam the Nunu bot laps. He knows that he's starting to win this. Lilac can take like 2 more snowballs maximum before he gets taken out here, so he's got to play this lane.
Honestly, like if he just hits the snowball and then just pops the absolute zero, he's dead.
I think what he's waiting for is maybe to take damage under turret and then turn it around with a stun on Ssumday. But even still, that's not going to kill him. He's got that Doran's ring and so much HP. Just the health scaling on Nunu is ridiculous, and he's already up there at level 6.
Like struggling, man.
Yes.
He's missed so many of these creeps right now.
Look at that Ice Blast. He's just going to walk underneath the turret and Ice Blast him and win the 1v1. He's going to push away.
Yeah, he's the Tove. What are you doing, Lilac?
Ssumday's just going to walk up and there's the Tibbers stun. Put out a little bit of extra damage. I think he expected to take damage and then turn it around with a stun, but if he had taken any damage, he would have died.
How could you hit such a cute little girl? She's a pyromaniac. Man.
And then you see, and then suddenly Tibbers, and you start to understand a little bit more. But now, going back to base, we'll be able to pick up most likely a bunch of ability power, but at the same time, Ssumday is gonna not only take down a lot of damage on this turret, but
you might get it.
Oh my god. Yeah, if there was another wave coming in at the right time, Ssumday could have taken that turret, but Lilac will be coming out of base with a catalyst?
Yeah, just go for the straight stats. You level up, you get some extra health and mana regen. It's not the best option like the triple Doran's ring that some Ssumday is going for, but I guess he needs the stats. Honestly, it doesn't seem like the best choice here. Any with Doran's ring early on is just so strong that you could just abuse the fireballs nonstop. But all right, I mean he's the one playing this right now. I'm not, so we'll see if it bites him in the butt in the end.
Now, the reason I'm skeptical about the catalyst is that even though that'll even up the sustain just a little bit, and he just won't have any damage. You can see Ssumday with all the tank stats that those triple Doran's rings give him, he's just not going to take any damage here. He's got a lot of points. In fact, let me check the skill build here for Ssumday. If we can click on him here in just a second, we'll be able to tell what he's gone ahead and skilled. For Annie, it's 4-2 and then 0 points in that Molten Shield. Notice she's not really going to get auto-attacked, so just put the points and Incinerate and trying to keep that harass up. And you can see it's actually pretty darn effective here. Ssumday need to get a little bit of that sustain back. Tibbers up in 10 seconds, so
that Tibbers timing is key. He still has Ignite. He can stop the health potions. He can stop the Consume heal too, or reduce it significantly. So he's doing a lot.
1, and Tibbers is back online. There is that Incinerate stun.
He has enough for a full combo, but it's not enough. There's no way it's enough to kill right now.
And if he does his full combo and it doesn't kill Ssumday, he's just going to sustain it all back.
Yeah, there's still the barrier too to keep an eye out for. Like that's the key thing. If he doesn't do enough damage to start it off, then Ssumday is just gonna be like barrier, turn around with absolute zero, and you're dead, or just force a flash out of him. And okay,
I think Ssumday wins this. He's gonna get another ice blast. There's the absolute zero. He's turning it back around. There's the barrier. A flash out defensively. The snowball is gonna hit, and it's Ssumday to win the 1v1 in game number 1 over Lilac.
All right, that's what we were talking about, man. The Doran's ring verse, just way too strong. We even get a nice little replay here, too, where Lilac just got way too overconfident. He might have not factored in the barrier because Ssumday even messed up the barrier timing. He didn't even mitigate, like, Tibbers damage or anything like that. So, starts about right here. So, Lilac, he gets the stun off there. He throws out the fireball, then Tibbers afterwards. Barrier comes out late, but it just doesn't matter. And Ssumday's like, all right, I'm just going to charge you down. And Ice Blast. Boom, you're dead.
Yeah, just even underneath this turret. And really, that 1v1 came down to lane management at the end. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But Ssumday, you can see on your screen the winner. And of course, you know, kind of the popular player to win this matchup. Give it all, gotta give it all.
So it looks like we are in fancy smashy intro video. This is going to be the game 2 between Ssumday and Lilac, as we already get onto the rift here. Ssumday rocking the pack Sivir. He's got flash, teleport, no exhaust, no ignite, nothing crazy to try to mitigate Lilac's aggression. Lilac going for the ghost and exhaust. So he is going to look to run you down as fast as possible, get the Ragnarok out there. Nothing's going to stop him, even though Sivir doesn't even have any CC anyway. So we'll see. Doran's Blade and Potion start for Ssumday. Lilac, what are you doing, you crazy dog? Doran, shield, potion, boots, potion.
He is looking to, get that spam out there. Now, I'm afraid
clarity.
That,
Not clarity. That's a.
I was gonna say the clarity probably not what you want to go for. As far as trinkets are concerned, I think that's what you're talking about. The scrying orb picked up by Ssumday. It's gonna scout any sort of bush or waiting around the edge of the wall shenanigans. And honestly, he just
popping it.
Uses the first charge.
Let's see. Where's the CDR at? 18.75%.
Wow.
All right.
Off of nothing but runes and masteries, 18.5% CDR. That is going to be so many axes. The problem that I'm seeing with no teleport in there from Lilac is, how is he going to sustain that? And I want to say that he's not planning on it. He's going to wait for Sivir to shove the wave into his turret and then land one axe into another axe into another axe and, pick up the kill that way. Difficulty is that, mid lane's the short lane, so it's not all that long to get back to the turret, and there is a spell shield for Ssumday.
Okay, let's see. Thinking about it, I don't think he's going to max the passive for sustain. I highly doubt that. Jeez, I'm thinking it's just gonna be Undertow. At least the wave clear and give him a chance of maybe reaching the CS threshold of 100. But even then, Sivir should literally miss nothing in this lane. I don't think there's a way Ssumday missed any of these creeps.
Winning the dance off in the mid lane as well. You can see Ssumday we're gonna wait for the wave to sort of bunch itself up and then wait to get maximum value out of probably a Ricochet level 1. No, he's actually skills Spell Shield at level 1.
Stop the Undertow.
Yeah, he's gonna find out what build Lilac's to go for. He lands one Undertow, and he actually doesn't Spell Shield it. So maybe not wanting to give away that he's going for. There we go. And the cool thing about this is that with those Spell Shields, Ssumday has infinite mana in the mid lane. And while it's not quite infinite, he has the ability to regenerate it, whereas Lilac is just going to be using consumables for that.
Yeah, there's no mana regeneration. There's no glyphs or anything put into his runes and masteries. So it's just going to be him relying solely on what he has as base regen on that mana there. Ssumday again, like that, just soaking up the damage, not even caring at all. Lilac at least is pushing the wave, and he's going to taunt him out just a little bit there. Broloff doing what he wants, the craggy ice axes and such. But this lane should literally be Ssumday's, like, heaven.
Now, if Ssumday's paying attention, and this is very crucial in the 1v1, you want to figure out what kind of build your opponent's going for. Now, he can tell by the time that the axe takes to disappear that there's a heavy amount of CDR runes going into Lilac's build, and so that means that he's going to have, a little bit more awareness as far as when he needs to, watch out for spell shields coming out, and as well as to try to figure out what build Lilac's going for. And currently, Lilac is going for the lose a lot of your health build, where you walk up and take all that damage, and Ssumday doesn't. And in the range versus melee matchup, you can kind of expect that, but what you're not going to expect is the way that Lilac wins this game, which is currently something I'm not expecting, but you got to give him the benefit of the doubt, looking to see if those Undertows can be what turns this game around in his favor.
You know what the thing is, though? Using that Undertow pressure is going to force Ssumday to at least use the Ricochet, use the Boomerang Blade, and just push out the lane. So Lilac is at least guaranteeing himself some XP, he's getting some good farm. With Undertow on such a low cooldown, he's at least able to clear out the waves decently, but not as efficiently as he would like to. As it takes a lot of mana to use Undertow. So this is going to be a tough game again for Lilac, and there's no way he can harass Ssumday, like we said before. And there it is, Spell Shield coming into effect again. Ssumday can just Ricochet and Boomerang Blade all he wants.
There's realistically very little way for Lilac to deal damage to Ssumday. As long as he's able to Spell Shield at least one of the axes, it breaks the Undertow chain and won't keep him CC'd, so he can probably just walk back to his turret and keep up the harass. If you look at the CS lead as well, it's starting to develop. We're only 5 minutes into the game, and there's already an almost 10 CS differential between both players, which is what you need once you hit 100 CS to be able to win the game.
Yep, and man, this match is Oh, it just doesn't seem like it's very fun for Lilac. He's camping in the side brush. He's soaking up whatever XP he can get. I mean, without getting harassed
And this
out.
is where that scrying orb comes into play, so you can see where Lilac is hiding. Although because he can't leave that mid lane very far, you don't really. It's not really a big mystery where he goes. Might just be used to scout things out and see. When
Is he in the jungle farming up? Oh wait, you can't do that.
Okay, there's the ghost down. Lilac is gonna all in. There's an exhaust as well. Spell shield not actually able to flip. He misses one axe that could have turned that matchup around, and with a final auto attack, it's Ssumday to pick up the 1v1 victory and a 2-0 lead and advantage to win the 1v1. You'll get to see a replay on your screen right now. Lilac turns on the go juice, but it's just not enough.
I mean, okay, so he waits for the spell shield to proc, but Ssumday does a nice little sidestep, and after the flash, there's a sidestep, and Lilac's like, oh crap, I missed the axe, and he's got to turn around and try to run away, but yeah, it's not enough. He'll just get auto attacked down.
If Lilac had hit that axe, there's actually a possibility that Ssumday might have died, but that's not what happened. Ssumday picks up the game 2 victory, and of course the 2-0 victory in this 1v1 Korean tournament. The Solo King. Is it Ssumday? Well, it is in this situation.